If I had a drum roll, I would definitely play it right now. The thing about it is that this guest is someone that I've actually come to know by following some of her YouTube work. I'm really a fan. So let me introduce you to Janine Morigeau, and I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Janine. Janine is an accomplished astrologer, tarot card reader, spiritual life coach, and truther, having made her living from her divination skills since 1991. Happy 30th year anniversary, by the way. She moved into YouTube creator status in 2018, and she's got almost 82,000 subscribers on her channel, Tarot by Janine. Wow. And Sending Ravens with Tarot by Janine, that's her other channel, just over 40,000 subscribers. Amazing. A lover of humanity, Janine's intentions with everything she does is to empower people to think for themselves, trust universal love, and become free sovereign beings. Janine, truly, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here.
Wow, I am so happy to be here on this special day for you Americans.
That's right. Couldn't have picked a better day.
Yeah, I consider myself a patriot. I know that sounds weird. I'm a patriot, and I absolutely love. I love the USA. I love Trump.
You're allowed.
I'm a bit of a novelty in Canada here.
Yeah, especially. I was going to say, you're joining us from where in Canada?
Alberta. So Calgary, Alberta.
Right, that's on the left side of Canada for those that don't know.
That's right.
Beautiful area as well. And we would get to know you a little bit more. This is the first time, by the way, I've ever been participating in a tarot reading, so I'm extremely excited for that. But I noticed behind you in your pictures, you can't see this obviously on the radio, but you have ravens. Two ravens behind you on the wall in photographs, drawings, and they're beautiful. And I don't know if you know this, locally in Baltimore, where we broadcast the show, the football team here is the Baltimore Ravens. So ravens are very big in Baltimore. What's the significance of the ravens behind you?
Well, I studied native medicine with a medicine man in what is known as the Haida Gwaii in Canada, which is a very unique, special place in the most northwest corner of Canada. And ravens were a big totem of mine, and I was taught to send them when people needed extra love and energy or just needed to get through a hardship. So they're like healers. So in the Haida tradition, ravens are very special healing energy.
Well, that's interesting. So taking back to Haida Gwaii, how do you spell that, by the way?
Haida and Gwaii.
Yeah, for those that don't know, it's a rainforest in the northern western islands of just off of Canada, and they're just absolutely beautiful, pristine places. How did you end up there? And is that where you started to recognize your ability to read into universe and stuff?
I'd actually moved there at age 31, and I was already reading. In Calgary, I was already a very sort of junior tarot reader. I had studied for maybe 5 or 6 years before that, but I wasn't officially charging for it or calling myself a full-time reader. And I moved there with my daughter, who was 6 months old at the time. Kind of a long story, but kind of a spiritual quest, I guess, to find myself. And I ended up there in a 74 two-tone blue king cab truck, and with all my belongings in the back, and my 6-month-old, her dad, and a dog, and a cat who was pregnant. And off we went on this big quest from Alberta to the Haida Gwaii. We didn't even know how far it was. Turned out it was 22 hours drive and then a 6-hour ferry from Prince Rupert. So it was a magical experience. I lived there for 9 years, brought my daughter up there in her early life, and just had all of these incredible mystical experiences. So it's literally like my becoming of really the reader I am today.
Now, the audience might be wondering, what's the connection between tarot and CBD and hemp? And the answer is that there really probably isn't a major connection, although we'll discover that, won't we? But I know that you have a CBD story, or at least somebody that you know. Could you enlighten us, just a general opinion of what you have about it, please?
Well, I have several people that I know personally, and very close people that have experienced big diseases or diseases and in their life and had to face the dastardly cancer, unfortunately, in most cases. And at least 4 people I know have really managed their pain levels and just getting through all the kinds of treatments they needed with CBD oils and various products, CBD related. So I have a lot of respect for natural healing energy like that, and I've always respected it. And if you think about it, the more it's repressed by the government and repressed by powers that be and hidden from us, and we were told we shouldn't have it and whatever, yet alcohol is put forward as something that's okay. You know, the more they do stuff like that, the more your eyebrow raises and you gotta go, okay, that's interesting. There must be something really good about it if Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about it. So that right away tells me everything I need to know about it.
Yeah, we're going to dig into. We have so many
Yeah,
questions
so many
for
questions.
you, Janine. We really do. So, in learning tarot, is it something that anyone can pick up, or do you have to have some sort of special skill in order to be able to read tarot?
Well, I think you need to be drawn to it. It's a visual thing, so not everybody's drawn to it. And the tarot cards themselves, you have to be sort of a visual-oriented person. And it, of course, helps if you're intuitive. But I believe everybody is. But not everybody wants to do tarot for a living or for others. Some people can study it and just use it for their own life. And other people really want to sort of coach others with it, help others with it. So depending on sort of your intentions going in, I think I could teach it to anyone who is interested enough, right? So even if you didn't have natural ability, I think it actually teaches you how to listen to your intuition. So the cards are a teacher themselves. In a way, it's a way to connect to the spirit world or the universal knowing.
So in that light, the fact that you're able to teach people how to potentially, uncover this gift if they had it, would you be able to simply describe to our listening audience, because many of them may not have ever had a tarot reading or may not have been open to even hearing about it. Can you just briefly describe the process of how that works?
Okay, so I'll talk about it from a professional reader. So I've been literally a reader for 35 years at this point.
Yeah, and just so you know, Janine, we're going to have to take a commercial break in just a few, but just a quick overview, and then we'll come back and we can dig right into it. So if you want to just give us an idea.
It's like a tool that helps you channel information that you're getting already, unconsciously maybe, and it becomes more conscious. The tarot helps you understand what you're already receiving unconsciously. So it connects you to your unconscious knowing and the other person's unconscious. So the higher self communicates through the tarot cards.
We're here with Janine Morigeau. How do I say that?
Morigeau.
Morigeau. Beautiful. So much better. Morigeau.
So much better.
Astrologer, tarot card reader, and spiritual life coach. Welcome back, Janine. I'm glad you made it back. We got some calls on the line, but I'm not, I love our listeners, but you just have to wait a second because I got to ask my question first. But
sure.
Max, what a great song. Who chose that song?
That's Janine's choice. So when we interview people, we ask them, what kind of music do you like? And Janine's like, straight up old school hip hop. And we're like, we can relate. I've got an autographed pair of DMC's Adidas behind glass in my house. True story.
Yeah, so you picked, we share that love for music genres for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get into this. If you want to call in and participate, you should get in line because we already have some. 410-922-6680 is the number if you got some questions for Janine and her tarot cards. She can be answering questions for you. Before we get to the readings, Janine, since it's radio and they don't have a visual, can you describe what you're going to do, and then when the cards come up, just sort of walk them through a little bit more, knowing that it's an audio first podcast?
Okay. Sure.
Now, that's really it. And my first question is related to the FDA. And there's the Food and Drug Administration, and they're currently in a holding pattern on releasing very important guidance to the CBD industry on what we should be doing and how can we have access to banks and so forth. So their regulation is really holding everything up. And they've approved one product already, and it's an FDA-approved drug for seizures. It's called Epidiolex. And that's the only product that the FDA has actually approved. So my question for you is there going to be a legitimate pathway approved by the FDA where we can release our CBD products?
Okay, that's a good question.
Is that a good question?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm basically shuffling in your question.
Okay.
So I connect my guide that I connect to. Some people consider themselves having specific guides that help them with the tarot reading. I actually connect to the higher universe, so I don't have a guide. It's guided by universal knowing. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways you could say that, but higher knowing. So then I place the card pile down, and I'm going to cut it 3 times with my left hand, and with your question in mind. And then I stack them up. So I just let my left hand. The reason we use our left hand is because you're more intuitive. It connects you to your intuition. The right hand is more your ego brain, and we don't want to talk to your ego brain right now.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Your higher self and your intuitive knowing, and then universal knowings chiming in. So we're going to answer that question with those knowings. And the cards are just tools to help me understand how to answer it. Okay?
Great.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like it's on hold, and because of government, exactly like you said, we got the Emperor, which is government, and the Hanged Man, which is an on hold card. Okay, so that's pretty much what you said. You said everything was on hold because of regulation, right?
Right.
We've got the Sun in the background, which is giving a real nod towards the product. So the Sun is one of the best cards in the deck. It never goes bad. It's like most cards can be read good or bad, varying degrees, but the Sun is always really positive. So what we're asking about is something that is a good, positive product. So that's good to know.
Very good.
Okay, really good to know. And we've got this 5 of Pentacles. So 5 of Pentacles says we've got holdups and hiccups and boundaries, but it's only a minor arcana card. So there's 2 groups of cards in a tarot. There's 78 cards in a deck. There's minor and major arcanas. There's a lot more minor arcanas, and they're changeable. If this was a major arcana card in between in your question, the problem would be the universe is saying no to the situation. It's karmically not going to happen, or it's destined not to happen. But because it's a minor arcana, it says there's holdups, but they're minor and they can be got through. So there's changes coming. So let's have a look at when you can expect them. Okay.
Great.
Even in the next 8 months, you could see your situation improving greatly.
Woohoo.
There's all kinds of things. That's the 8 of Pentacles card. So there's all kinds of things and people working on the behalf in the background. See how this guy's working really hard on something? Pentacles are physical manifestation. So they're the element of earth in the tarot. Swords are thoughts and words. Cups in the tarot are emotions. Wands are energy, like spiritual and or sexual energy and or creative energy. But Pentacles is what you want in a question like that as the outcome, a positive Pentacle card, which means it'll physically manifest. So I'm giving it about 8 months.
All right.
All
wow,
right.
That's pretty specific.
Very specific.
Wow, thank you. That's that's more than I expected, Janine.
Janine's no joke.
Man, that felt great, too.
Yep.
All right, we have a question from a listener here. This is Pauline in Baltimore. Pauline, welcome to Understanding CBD.
Thank you.
What kind of question do you have for Janine and her tarot?
Basically, what does she see in my future? I mean, I know what the past has been, but I was just wondering, does she see anything promising in my future?
She's nodding. She hears you.
I hear ya. I'm looking.
And are you using the lighter weight deck?
Yes, I am.
I thought so from listening to you. I know a little bit about tarot, but not that much.
All right, Pauline, you got me here. Fill me in. What are you talking about? What kind of deck are you talking about?
The cards that she's talking about.
It's a special breed of deck?
Describe them.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Rider-Waite is a very traditional deck, and most decks are based on the Rider-Waite.
Okay.
They might be done, I think they were originated in the 16 or 1700s. So the idea of tarot is much older than that, but the drawings are, about that time period. And they've been redrawn and redrawn, but the Rider-Waite is what everybody bases a traditional deck on. So if you look up Rider-Waite, you'll find them. A woman actually designed them, but a fellow had a lot to do with the intellectual input of them and symbology in them. But a woman, Pamela Anderson, I believe her name was.
Oh, Pamela.
It's not the Pam Anderson, right?
No, not that one. Another Pam. I might have got the last name wrong because I probably just threw that common name in there. But anyway, Pamela, she painted these and originally, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. What do we got? So to answer the question, now we've got the Page of Pentacles. So looking at a financial situation, it looks like that. Are you seeing a financial situation you thought was going to happen? It's being taken away from you somehow. It's like you're fighting financially. Does that make any sense?
Not quite, but maybe a little.
Yeah. Okay. In the middle, there seems to be a struggle. It's almost like an ego struggle or an internal struggle. It's like, what do I do next? It's like you can't go backwards to something you've been doing. You want to go forwards, but you're in that in-between because spiritually you've really changed a lot in the last year and a half. Does that make any sense?
I'll tell you, I'm trying never to go back. It's always I go forward no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I get. So the Death card is slowly but surely evolving and going forward. And you can never go backwards with the Death card. You're always moving forward, or what we perceive as forward, right? Of course, spiritually, I don't think forwards and backwards really look the same, but the way humans experience it. So the Death card says you will never go backwards. And a great inventive idea is coming. It looks like in the fall, it comes right out of the blue. It's like we've got the Knight of Wands is the next thing that happens. So that's like a really creative, inventive idea. And it comes right out of the blue because it's sitting right next to the Wheel of Fortune. So something you don't expect. Okay, and it could even come out of the mouth of somebody else, like a youthful person, possibly a son or a close younger male. And you're going to move forward with that idea. Okay, but it'll take about 8 months of creative process to get it off the ground. Feeling like don't rush it. Don't rush it. By early next summer, you've got a whole new way of doing things and creating abundance for yourself.
Nice.
Very interesting. I was going to ask also, does she take readings? Is she local? Local?
Yeah, Janine, that's a good idea. Let's just put up here real quick before Max gets to his questions. How can people get in touch with you for your readings?
Well, I'm Tarot by Janine, and .com would be my website. But unfortunately, I've been reading personal readings for 35 years. So I actually retired from individual readings, but I do world event readings on 2 different channels on YouTube. And also I go on lots of programs like the one I'm on, but literally 4 or 5 programs a week. You can catch me on YouTube programs. So I'm Tarot by Janine and Sending Ravens. Those are both my channels on YouTube, but I'm also on Michael Jaco and lots of truthers out there have me on their programs. Nicholas Veneman. I don't know if your listeners watch any of those.
Well, that's
but,
cool. And Pauline, if you want to drop us a line, if you want to send Max and I an email, we can make sure you get connected with Janine and get some more information there. So I appreciate you calling in.
Can I call you at another time to get that info? I'll tell you why.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to put you on hold, and you can talk to Noah. He'll give you our number, and we'll get that. We just want to get moving with some more questions, okay, Pauline?
Thank
Is that
you,
cool?
And thanks, Janine, too.
Of course.
Thanks, Pauline.
Yep, thanks, Pauline. Max, it's your turn.
All right, my turn, Janine. I'm in. So the hemp plant, right? There's 3 generations that the hemp plant has been prohibited. We've essentially lost our way with the hemp plant. And because of that, the United States is falling behind, a lot of European countries and certainly China, right? So my question is this, and it's a little bit broad, but hopefully you can dig in. Does the USA have a chance in catching up and overcoming this problem related to hemp? And can we really be a leader?
Good question.
So
Max.
again, the first card I got was the Major Arcana, the Emperor, which is the holdups are all or have been in the past government related and or restriction related. And that's changing rapidly, okay, because we've got the Wheel of Fortune right next to it. So you read the cards based on what's around them. It's like a word in a sentence. The word might mean something to somebody, but when you put it in a sentence or a different sentence, it could mean something totally different. So readers don't always, depending on what's aspecting the reading, what's aspecting the card, it really will change the meaning of the card. So what I'm getting is the holdups and restrictions that you're referring to, and we saw in the very first reading that we looked at, okay, are quickly changing because your government is unexpectedly taking a really big change here, it looks like.
About time.
That's interesting based on some of the stuff the truthers are getting.
Indeed.
In the past, so it's been held up, and and for nefarious reasons, by the way. So it feels like powers that be just didn't want that out there, or didn't want those strains, as you're calling them, or those plants in particular. Maybe they were too potent with healing. I don't know, right? But they had reasons for holding it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's an alternative to the pharmaceuticals. So we know the drug companies and
money's related.
Yeah.
Yep. So it looks like it's gonna take time, but again, we've got this 5 of Pentacles. So hiccups and setbacks, okay, but not forever, because 5 of Pentacles is a minor arcana. So this can be worked with. If the outcome was a major arcana, that either blocks or makes something happen for sure. It's like a destiny card, those major arcanas. But minor arcanas on the outcome is good. So it says, with the new changes in government coming, and possibly very unexpectedly to a lot of people, a lot of people might not realize that there's a big change coming in the government in the United States, like imminently. Okay, so I feel like that's going to really help change things, but it could take up to 3 years to really see the structure change to the level you guys need it to.
We are here with Janine Morigeau.
Yeah, perfect.
Did I say
Perfect
that right?
pronunciation.
That's beautiful. Astrologer, tarot card reader, spiritual life coach, just an all-around great person, full of love, and you can feel it through the phone and through the radio and everything like that.
Indeed.
So we have a caller here for you, Janine, to do another reading for. This is Carol in Perry Hall. Carol, you have a question for Janine?
Yes, my husband for many years has had pain between his shoulder blades, and he's had many operations and prescription medicine. He tried a couple of marijuana cookies a couple years ago and became deathly ill, but he's since applied to the government program for medical marijuana, and wondering, would he benefit from the CBD more?
Okay, I'm having a look.
I'm sorry?
I'm just having a look, Carol.
Yeah, she's pulling into the deck, as she describes as she shuffles it, and then she uses her left hand to select the cards. And I can see her on the screen doing that now. And
those of you who watch the YouTube video afterwards will see all of this, and you'll be able to see the cards as well.
Yep.
I actually couldn't understand what she was saying.
She was saying that she was having a look.
Yep.
Oh, I couldn't even understand that. Oh, geez.
Let's hope you hear her.
Okay, so I just had a look. I placed out the cards, and it looks like he could benefit. The trick is going to be getting him in the program, it looks like.
Oh.
The thing itself would be successful, but getting them in the program, the trick. So what's stopping? Is it a big holdup with it?
Well, they said it takes, I don't know, a couple months for this thing to go through with the government.
Mm-hmm.
And we paid the $175 to get into it, but we have to wait. And then they would give us some sort of medical marijuana. I don't even know if this darn stuff is going to work with him throwing up just from a couple cookies.
Yeah, it's actually there's a couple questions here, Janine, and I don't know if it's coming through or not through the radio or not. The one question is, will medical marijuana help? He's tried some marijuana before, which has made him sick. And since CBD is slightly different from the medical marijuana, the question is also, you can get that through the medical program. So it sounds like the answer is, there is some hoops to jump through to get the medical marijuana license in Maryland. But once you get the license, will CBD be helpful versus THC, which has already made him sick?
Okay. So I'm thinking ingesting is not good for him. And that makes sense to him getting sick with the marijuana, like cookies, okay? But the oil will be helpful. So if he doesn't go the route of just pot smoking, basically, is that what she's referring to?
Yeah,
what she said?
That's one. I don't know. Has he, Carol, has he tried to smoke it yet?
No, we've never smoked either one. So
No, he just tried eating it. So his options are really eating it or some type of an oil or topical.
Right.
Yeah, I'm getting oil and topical, so ingesting the oil, if you could find a way to do that, and topical, that could really help. But
better than the medical marijuana then?
Yeah, better than the pot itself. Is not going to be helpful.
Okay.
Somehow that doesn't work for him, and ingesting it in food is not going to work either. He's going to need the CBD oil.
Oh.
And he could put it topical and ingest it. If he could do that in a safe way and get his hands on it, that would be much better, it says.
Okay.
Carol, I'll just throw in one additional thing there. And this is not something that I would expect Janine to know. It's very localized to this area here. So he doesn't necessarily have to be a part of the medical marijuana program to actually try a good CBD product. A good CBD product does not require that medical card. We can talk more about this offline. We appreciate the question.
Yep. And Noah can get you information as well and get your. We can follow up with you after the show.
Okay.
So again, great question. Thank you so much, Carol. And Janine, you're great.
We're here with Janine Morigeau, tarot reader, astrologer extraordinaire, beautiful soul. We appreciate her being here. So, Janine, so finally we get to be a little selfish about this and ask some questions about ourselves. So I can't wait to see what these cards say. So let me give you a little bit of background. So I have a very, very simple question. Stephen and I have known each other since high school. We've been business partners since about 2014. We obviously take this personally. We put ourselves out there. The name of our company is Max and Stevens, Understanding CBD, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to give you a nice and open-ended question. What do you see the future for Stephen and I, our business endeavor, and how we can continue educating the public about the wonderful benefits of this plant?
Love that question.
Yeah, maybe.
Good question. Let me see what
That's a good one.
Thank you.
See what you
Let's
got
see
here.
what we get.
Come on, universe.
Well, right off the bat, I've got the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups says you're doing it from your heart.
True.
Okay, and we all know, so cups in the tarot is one of the elements, and it's the element of water, so it's talking about emotions and feelings. So you're doing it with love in your heart. So even if you don't literally say it that way or think of it that way, that's what the card says. So it's saying you're coming from your heart with your business, which I'm going to say that is why I'm really, really successful in what I do, because I put my 100% heart into it. For 35 years, I worked with my clients with my whole heart, and they'll all tell you that. And I was greatly rewarded with a wonderful clientele and business. And you guys, that's a good thing, right? So now we've got the Pentacles, so the King of Pentacles card, which is about abundance. So you're visualizing, you have a set vision of abundance. You want to both make your living from this full time. I'm assuming. I mean,
One day,
putting all
yeah.
It'd be
We'd
nice
love
to make a living.
We'd love
absolutely.
to.
Yeah. Okay, so would you say you're about halfway there?
That's the question. That's a good question.
It's a
Well, I
really-
hope so.
yeah,
I hope we're
I
at least
mean,
halfway. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying we're about halfway there.
Was there a setback?
Yes.
Because now
There's always a
lot of-
setback.
Ooh.
the good news is this is the Three of Swords, so it looks bad, but it's thoughts. Okay, swords are thoughts and words. Swords are the element of air. Okay, so the suit of swords always looks really scary, but it's your thoughts that are scary, and we can change our thoughts. Okay, so don't let whatever hurdle right now or setback has got you scared or worried. Okay, because that card can be switched by thinking, visualizing, and getting over that hurdle mentally. So assuming that because your hearts are in it and your vision is that you just want to have a comfortable living, which, by the way, as a human, a sovereign being, you're allowed to. You're allowed to have comfort here on the earth plane. The universe wants you to have that. Okay, so if you're doing things that are good for humans and it's coming from your heart, there's no reason why that shouldn't be possible, right? So whatever's got in the way, you got to get around by thinking differently, saying something different about it, visualizing. So now we've got the Ace of Swords. So you need a new vision, and don't get stuck on what appears to be the hurdle. Okay, start talking about, okay, when we figure this out, we're going to, so make a plan and a vision for where you're going to be by this time next year, and stick to it, and just keep talking about it until you bump right into it. Literally manifest it into being by talking about it. And you should both get together a couple of times a week and talk about it as if it's already happening, and what you're going to do when you're at that place you both visualize being. Those kind of things are what humans are really good at, manifesting through thought and word. Okay, so don't get stuck on the hurdles. In fact, talk about it as if you're already past the hurdle, and then pretty soon you'll be past the hurdle because you're like actually manifesting your destiny. And because you're doing it from your heart and with really good intentions for humanity, there's no reason to fail. Whatever's stopping you now is just a hurdle and something to be learned from.
Extremely relevant, yeah.
And very comforting to hear. It's good to know that we're on the right path. We feel in our hearts that we're on the right path. We do this every day. We work really, really hard. It's out of our own pockets, so it's comforting to hear that, Janine.
Yeah.
So now let me extend that question out to sort of the rest of the world and the rest of the universe, or I guess, let me put it this way. So because it's 4th of July, Independence Day, a lot of people aren't feeling terribly independent these days, especially in the United States. What do the next few weeks sort of have in store for people who are curious or who haven't thought about what else is going on? Most people are really just looking at mainstream media and they don't have another opinion because they just don't have access to that. So what do the cards say about that, Janine?
She's digging in her cards, folks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That left hand's active. I see it.
Yep, I'm placing them out. So we've got the World as the first card down, the World card. That's a major arcana, and it's the last card in the deck, the number 21. So it's about a completion. So something's come to a completion and come full circle around people's lives, and a lot of them don't even see it or know it. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are just busy focusing, because this card focuses on daily routines, just trying to get bread on the table, just trying to pay the rent, the bills, just trying to feed the kids, that sort of thing, right? So this is like daily grind kind of card. Too focused on that, and not really, they don't have time to go digging into what's really going on under the surface. You know, they don't have time to watch YouTube channels, filling them in beyond what, of course, we know mainstream media is pretty much a bunch of fluff and just telling you what they want you to know.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's my opinion. Anyway.
All right, Janine,
right?
we got 30 seconds left here. So, again, Janine is on YouTube.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune, right?
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. Everything's going to change for the better.
God bless us.
Well, that's a great note to leave us on.
Tell me about it.
Max and Steven support the show, 443-743-2444. You can give us a call. Tarot by Janine.
Thank you, Janine Morigeau.
On YouTube. Check a look at her. We love you guys. Happy 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janine.